You know, pre-market I was up 300, and then I had a $300 loss, and then I had another $300 loss, and then I had like 100 win, 100 loss, 100 win, 100 loss, and then I started trending down again. I'm just like, no opportunities, or maybe I'm trading bad. I don't know.
I was up like 100 in pre-market. I just kept getting on the wrong side of trades. And then there was definitely some opportunity, but I was nailing it. And then like the first trade I made, I was down like 400 or something. And I took like a few more $100 losses. I think at the worst I was at like minus 850 or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. So you crawled out a bit then from there. Yeah.
And I'm at minus 280 now.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I feel like anything minus 500 is like you could really brush it off. Um, Obviously you don't want to be in that position, but I tried so hard getting back in the green. Just CNSP just had an opportunity at like 1120, but that's basically like right before I left. I was like, I need a break.
Yeah, I got that helped me get out. I cleared $300 on that, so it helped get me out of the hole.
Nice. That was probably by far one of the better setups. I can't believe I missed that one.
But
I
I
got
keep
stuck in
giving.
AUGX, that big flush. Not all of it, small size, but
I got caught in that flush too. That's the other thing that was like my $400 loss.
uh and CFRX for me I'm down 400 on that one alone. Yeah, tough day, tough day.
I keep trying to play this flag on CNSP, but it just will not resolve.
Do you think, yeah, it's a long one. Do you think it's going to be like a midday or power hour session? I mean, you have to go in like an hour, but is that what you would be looking for?
I yeah, if it's this bad, usually like I try not to trade power hour unless I'm red, and then I just try to get out of the hole. But I think like when it's when the stocks are like this, power hour tends to be a little bit better, or at least like a lot of these guys like seems like a lot of things are consolidating right now. So there's going to be some pops at power hour. Not like even AUGX hasn't totally sold off. It keeps kind of just holding right now. So there might be another pop over view up at least, or test some of the highs again.
Yeah, I agree with that. It definitely feels like there's support, but there's also just a general lack of follow through, which I guess is the problem. I mean, VIX is
That's
up
what's getting me
today.
in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I was buying breakouts like an idiot all day. Oh my God. I just did not learn my lesson.
I know. I was like, oh God, I know I'm in too high, and then I'd hold it. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I had the same thought.
I even added down to a couple of those losing trades.
Uh, darn us. Darn us. We're just
But
too antsy today.
I'm definitely starting to figure out like trade sizing a little better. Like I'm only starting with 750 and then try to add into it if I think it's going to work. Or if at 750 shares, if it pulls back on me, I'll add into it too, because then I'll only be at 1,500 shares.
So you have like your default size at 750 and then you just keep adding into the winner as quick as possible.
Yeah, or not into the like if it's holding, I'll add into it, try to get the pop, or if it pulls back, I've been adding down with 750 and then having having a 1,500 as kind of my base size, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. And then if it drops more, then I just dump it.
Yeah.
But a couple of times I had 3,000 share size and didn't pay off at all.
Yeah. I honestly, my best trading today was right pre-market with AUGX. All I did was I just traded that range that lasted basically, let's see, lasted basically 60 minutes. I traded about 30 minutes of that range and that really paid the bills. And then I was like, I did my midday analysis. Do I want to keep trading or not? And well, I kept trading and then I gave it all back. I even said to myself, I was like, the market's kind of crap. Like the VIX is up, bullish things like SPY and the ARK and Bitcoin, they're all down. I was like, this is not the day to push it. And I'm already green. I should call it. And then I did one more trade and then boom. I was like-
I saw that screenshot. Yeah, you were trading that well, and
Yeah.
I caught the breakout well, and then I just kept trying to get continuation and losing on pullbacks.
Dude, yeah, the pullbacks are brutal today. Hey, Danny.
What's up, guys?
Reminiscing about the pains of today.
Did anyone else get absolutely body slammed on PTPI?
Yo,
I
we
did.
both did.
Sick.
AUGX, the sell-off, and the PTPI, I caught all of the flushes today.
Yeah, I went from up about 500 at the top of the PTPI move to down 277, holding 2,000 shares from 812 in the halt down. So I'm down a little over 1,000 on PTPI.
Oh,
Yo,
damn.
that's pretty brutal. I'm just sharing my screen right now so we can watch
Yeah,
this in
really
retrospect.
great ticker, great company.
Dude, I did literally the same thing. It was breaking out and I bought
Yeah.
into the breakout and then whack. And then I sold. I sold pretty quickly actually, but this put me
Yeah.
right on the ticker. I was green on this ticker originally.
I was too, yeah.
So that was very frustrating.
Let me see. So let me pull up my PTPI.
Yeah, you could share if you want. I just threw it in the meantime.
Yeah, let me
Yeah, Toby and I were talking earlier where it's like we're struggling getting back in the green today.
I did make it back green. I actually was, so I was, when I was up about 500 on this, I think I was up about 700 or 800 on the day. And then after this, I was down 600, and I am actually doing okay on the day now. I'm at 375. Because I've been trading. I took a couple good trades on ADTX and a couple good trades on CNSP.
Oh yeah, I see that. Nice.
So that got me back in the game for today. Isn't it awesome when Thinkorswim works? You know what? DOS actually is
We
really
work
cool.
on CNSP.
Thanks. Yeah, that was not bad at all. But let's see.
Did you get that 1120 pop? Toby said he got that, and I was gone. I was away from the computer. I missed that. It was such a
20 on
probably one of the
CNSP. No, I missed that. I saw it breaking. I'll look at that in just a second on my chart. But yeah, this was my trade on PTPI. I don't remember the share size. Thinkorswim could have told us, but I bought here, sold here, added here, sold here, sold here, added full position size here, was holding into the halt down, got out for like a 30-cent loss on those 2,000 shares. So that was, I was already down 277 holding in this halt down, and that just took me straight another 600 out of on the resumption there. So that was garbage.
That's interesting because that's literally your setup, that kind of
there we go,
bear trap. But
yeah, it just didn't work today. So so let's see, I took 1,000. I wasn't trading big size on this compared to like typical size that I've been trading. So I took 1,000 shares here at 878 right here. Pretty much, this looked good. This was basically an ABCD pattern, sort of like a curl. I bailed a couple shares here. I took some more at 927. I sold those for 10 cents profit. So yeah, I was in the, I had made some profit on this here, and then it was selling the remainder of my 320 shares down 60 cents. That was the first loss, and then this was the second one, was buying into the dip here, and then it went into the halt down here and resumed here. So that got me. That was PTPI. Up the chart there a little bit. CNSP. CNSP did not trade nicely today, really at all, but I am up pretty decently on it. And this is not today. So here we go. This was nasty. A couple of my friends got hit bad on that with big size, like a couple tens of thousands of shares. That was pretty nasty.
Today was not the day to go aggressive.
No, not at all. I was in this trade and I was in this with solid size. I had like 2,500 or 3,000 shares from around 3, and it was popping up to 310. And I was like, do I want to double my position here or take profit? And I did take profit, luckily, because this happened really fast. I missed this pop because I saw it kind of popping back up, but I was like, all of this, I'm not interested in this at all until it clears like 310 and holds above it. Because we're looking at all these candles, and this did technically close above 310. This opened above 310, but like realistically, we don't have a single candle that actually stayed above 310 yet. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So this one just broke 3 and went straight to 335. Like, I'm not sure that I would have even traded that anyways. So I missed that one. I took a bunch of trades on dips in here. I was trading in here and in here, kind of looking for it to set up like an ABCD pattern or just a 5-minute consolidation bull flag type move higher. So I wasn't looking for breakouts here. I was mostly just, when it pulled back a little bit, I bought. When it popped up a little bit, I sold some, and I was trying to just position myself into a good position. If it was going to go higher, I could add while holding from a lower initial position.
Right.
And that, obviously that never happened, but I did manage to, I probably made like 300 or so doing that. ADTX, same idea here. I was buying this, I was buying this, and I was buying this. And so now we've got a serious double top here, but if it holds up, it's actually not looking bad at all for potentially a move later today.
Yeah, it's not looking too shabby. A ticker like this, though, is below the 180 SMA or 200 SMA, whatever you might be looking at. And I feel like those tickers they're just generally weaker. So I would be nervous for
on the daily.
Yeah, the daily.
Yeah, that's definitely valid.
So just every time it pops, it sells off again. So it's just a big downtrend.
My 200 EMA is all the way up at 712.
Wow, that's a beast. My 180 is at, I don't know why they're so different. My 180 is at like $3 roughly.
Your 180 SMA, okay.
SMA, which doesn't seem to make sense that they're that different.
Well, my EMA would be weighting these heavier. So your SMA is going to have all of this weighted equally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, so that's my trading today. All things considered, not that bad.
Here you're green for today.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm green, whatever. It's been not a hot day. I could have done without the $1,400 loss on that, but yeah, I mean, I'm green solidly on CNSP, ADTX, Bed Bath & Beyond. I've been having a lot of fun trading Bed Bath & Beyond yesterday and today.
Yeah, tell us about your BBBY. What's going on? You're shorting this ticker like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in particular. I just saw it popping up yesterday, and it wasn't on like any sort of groundbreaking news or anything like that. So yesterday, I hit some really nice shorts on it. So I was looking at it here, and as it double topped here, I started taking positions short, and it's a higher float. I think it's like 420 million float or something like that. So usually what that means is it's much harder for it to have a candle like this or like this with like a lot of range. So I felt pretty safe taking bigger positions on it. And I started taking like 10,000 share positions on it. And it has such little range that I was like, if I want to actually like make some money on this, I need to take bigger size. So it kept going how I thought it would. So it double topped here after this and then came back down, retested. And so now we're under the moving averages.
Yeah.
And my thought was if we come back down to test 52, we're likely going lower. So I started taking bigger positions on the breakdown through here up to like 25,000 share positions. And then we had the little consolidation around VWAP. And then through this breakdown here, I was like, this is the candle that would make sense to really go lower, because we broke down through VWAP, we popped back above it. So now we're basically confirming that it's going to go lower. And that's why
That's why too so high.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you get this bigger red candle, because longs probably at this point are recognizing that it doesn't make sense to hold on anymore. You've got the last reasonable support basically right here. So I took like a 33,000 share position or so short through that breakdown, covered a little bit down here. You get a little relief bounce. I might have re-added on that, because we see this all the time. You get a move lower and then you get a little relief bounce back to like the 9 EMA. And then this is basically just bear flagging. So I re-added short into this push down here. So I actually ended up making like 1,100 on Bed Bath & Beyond yesterday.
Yeah, that was clean.
Yeah, that was nice. And it was actually really fun to be playing around with bigger size like that.
Yeah, it was really agile that you switched to shorting BBBY when maybe there was nothing else going on with the typical.
That was it. Yeah. There was it was VYNE yesterday morning that oh man, it had such a perfect setup that I had been watching for all morning, and I missed it because it just took too long, and I moved away. I started looking at something else, or like I had other work to do. So it had this move up, it's doing all this, it's just hovering at VWAP. So I was looking for a bear trap to go higher. And so finally you get this candle that tries to reject and break down, and that ended up having like a 50-cent range. And I just completely missed that move. So I was kind of frustrated about that. But then I pretty much just like, I didn't trade anything else after that because nothing was moving. And then finally a little later in the morning I took those BBBY trades, and I went from like up 200 on the day to up like 1,400 with them. So I was happy with how little I traded yesterday given how slow it was, and I'm going to try to basically do the same thing today. Like, it's not a hot day, we already know that. What did I say might pop up later? ADTX, like, could keep this on watch. It's consolidating at 84% on the day, which is good, but I don't know, like, is it worth sticking around? I think it was Tuesday that I ended up like less than 200 green on the day, and I just took so many trades, and I really want to avoid days like that. So I'll probably just be done for the most part.
Yeah, if I was green today, I would call it, and I feel like
yeah, exactly.
The only reason I'm still trading is because I'm red and I want to get back in the green, which is a horrible reason. So I think,
well,
yeah.
how red are you?
Like 490. It's almost $500. It's not that bad, but it's to the point where you're like, oh, let me just, because you could get green in one trade,
Yeah, if you have the right trade pop up.
but
That's what I was like. I think on Tuesday and yesterday when I was green like 150 or something like that, I was like, I just need like one move and I can make a solid chunk.
yeah. But I think that's what got me in trouble today. Like I was up 350 and there was nothing moving, and I was range trading AUGX, which I typically don't. Here, I'll pull it up on my screen. I typically don't range trade, but if there's nothing going on, I will do range trading. Now, I was online to like literally like this area, and then I went offline, and then I missed this nice little front side. And then I came back and I was like, missed that. But then I was like, oh, this is a classic, like it just had a solid first leg and I'll probably consolidate. And after I saw this and it popped up, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go for that range. And I just started placing limit orders on both sides. And I basically got up 350 here. And then I made some and lost some, made some, lost some in this area. Luckily, didn't give it all back here. But at this point, I was like reassessing the market. I was like, let's see here. The VIX is up. ARK is down, SPY is down, although not that much, but it was like, it felt more like a high risk day. We had no good gappers that I really, really liked. And our top gappers were also kind of failing, like AUGX at the open, which isn't a good sign. So I was like, I should probably call it. And then I didn't, made a mistake and gave it all back. And then I was like, then I was kind of sitting around trying to find that opportunity that, there was some opportunities, but I wasn't able to nail any. And I was thinking like, I do this a lot where I'm up green and then I end the day red. And I was thinking so much. I was like, how do I improve that skill? Because I think I'm okay at sizing. I know my strategy, my stats are good. But the one thing that I'm really not good at is like knowing when to walk away. I seem to always get myself in a pickle.
That used to be a huge issue for me, and I'm careful to say that it's not anymore, but I used to do that all the time, and I don't do that so much anymore. One of the best things that I think I've probably worked on and gotten better at in like the last 6 months or so is kind of figuring that out, working on that. Because I used to do that all the time, and it's the worst feeling.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting. But yeah, I mean, I think that I got to the point, and I work with a therapist who's part of like the psychology team at Warrior. So he's like in tune with the market and day trading, and he is Ross's therapist / like day trading coach. And basically we got to the point of me just like actually understanding, is it worth like how hard am I working? How hard do I think I'm going to work to make whatever X amount if I keep trading right now? Is it actually worth it? Are there things that could substantially improve my day? Or do I think I'm going to be just kind of like banging my head against the wall to make like another 50 or $100? And probably it makes a lot more sense just to wait till tomorrow if I want to make more money. And that was definitely where some of it was coming from, was just like, I want to make more money and I see things that are sort of moving, but like, are they actually worth trading?
Yeah.
That was a hurdle that I had to mentally get over.
It's nice that psychologist is focused on day traders. So yeah, I feel like otherwise it'd be like, I don't really know what to say, or maybe not. Who knows?
You seem crazy.
yeah, this guy is the green candle in the room with us right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just about done reading that book, the Quit book by Annie Duke, I believe, and I gotta say, she's done tons of research on knowing when to quit, and if that's quitting your business, quitting your I don't know, anything, right? And she talks about retail traders a lot, and then she, from taxi drivers to everything. And, when do you walk away? And it's basically when the expected value is no longer like positive based on your input that you need to do. It's more or less a simple equation.
Yeah,
But
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it does make a lot of sense. And then we have to factor out all these other things like sunk costs and whatnot, which humans are really bad at. So for example, I'm red on the day, so I want to keep trading, although it's a negative expected value day. And that's something that gets me in a lot of trouble. And she says what you have to do a lot of the times is basically have a kill switch ahead of time. So she gave us an example of people that climb Mount Everest. Basically after 11, I forgot the exact day or the time, but let's just say it was 11 a.m. If you're not at a certain point by 11 a.m., you have to turn around because the chance of making it back and surviving is exponentially going down by the minute at that point. Because
it takes a certain amount of time to come back down.
And weather conditions and what if this happens and then lack of oxygen. It's like everything gets worse after that point.
Yeah.
And there's many examples of people that even went over like 11:30 and they're like, we can still make it. And then so many people, I'm sure you guys know, die on Mount Everest. And it's usually people that try to gun at that last point. So you have these kill switches in place ahead of time. So, like in the decision, if you're in the moment, you don't have to make a decision. So in the moment, when you're, let's say at that point and it's 11:30 and you're thinking if I should go forward, you're not trying to make that decision. You're like, oh, okay, we have a rule that at 11, we turn around if we're not, at a certain point. So that takes the decision out of you. You don't have to feel like you're quitting or anything like that. It is something you did ahead of time. You did your analysis ahead of time. So going forward, hopefully that can make you do better decisions. And she's done a lot of studies on that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I remember Ross made a video about that recently and I was watching it and that was what he had said. Apparently there was this like guide who had done so many tours for people on Everest and he always had this kill criteria that stuck to, and like the one time he didn't listen to it, he didn't come back.
Yeah, even the person who made it himself. And there's another interesting researcher who studied like sunk costs and when to quit. And there's like another thing specifically he studied, and he even fell victim to it himself. He was a mountaineer and he also died, even though everything was saying he shouldn't continue, and he still continued. So it basically goes to show that we're horrible at basically realizing when to quit. So I was like, how do I take this out of my own hands? So I was trying to come up with some kill switches myself, where it's like, okay, if the indexes are, pointing that, let's say the VIX is up and there's no top gainers and I'm green, that should probably be a kill switch where like, wow, I'm green on a bad day. Let me just take it because the expected value today is bad. But if I'm, let's say green and the indexes are really good, maybe I should double down and keep going. So I've been trying to figure out a way to implement that in my trading because I know this is the thing I'm the worst at. So I think if I can figure this out even incrementally, like 5-10% better, my P&L will have a huge upswing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that making those small changes, I think we were talking about this last week too. It's just like small changes in your trading over time, just keep you in the market and help you keep making more money and getting better. And that's where I've found success. I haven't had any sort of major strategy change or like brilliant idea that started making me more money and losing less money. It's just like a whole ton of little changes that now you're 55% or 60% accurate instead of 50, or now you're doing like 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1 on your wins versus losses instead of 1 to 1.
Yeah,
just like little changes over time.
Yeah, when you're doing hundreds or thousands of trades like you guys are a month, it makes a huge difference.
I traded 1.25 million total shares of Bed Bath & Beyond yesterday.
Wow. Those sub-dollar stocks, huh?
Huh?
Sub-dollar stocks,
exactly.
You got to ramp up that share size. That's crazy.
What was really cool though, and this is something that I have definitely noticed more recently, is my accuracy over those trades was like 47%, but my win versus loss was 4 to 1. So that's actually what I've been finding, like leveling up and improving my trading lately, is I'm happy to take losses all day and get in where I think that I should be getting in, because when they work, it's like 2 or 3 or 4 to 1. And so I know that I can be wrong half the time and still be okay. And that's been huge for my confidence too.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think you and Toby are great to talk about this kind of how long should you trade for? How do you want to improve your trading? Because you guys trade for long periods of time compared to most traders in terms of like the amount per day, I feel like. I usually try to stop earlier. I've been trading longer lately, but that's I think like Toby, for example, what are some of your kill switches, or what are your, I mean, I know you don't have a max loss really either. So how do you feel about that whole topic?
I just kind of keep it pretty loose. If I'm working out of the hole, then I'm going to continue going with it. And if I keep digging red and red and red, then that's kind of the kill switch. It's like it will probably be a pretty big number, but usually if I'm starting to catch some green trades and start to work my way out of it, I'll continue on that path. Usually if it gets slammed back down to where I started that journey, then that'll probably be the kill switch.
That's the same with me. Yeah. Like if I'm red and nothing is moving, that's one thing. But if I'm red and there are still things that have volume and range, I'm like, I know that I can at least try to get something back. And I'm never like, if I'm down 1,000, I'm never like, I'm going to get back to green in one trade. I'm like, I'm going to take a trade, see where it puts me, take a couple trades. Am I making progress, or am I just chopping around and getting frustrated, and take it from there?
Yeah.
Because like Toby, I don't have necessarily like a max loss, or I mean, I have kind of a max loss that I'm like, I really need to stop. But if I'm red, it's not like I can't keep trading when I'm red, because I've gone red to green many times in my trading, and it makes sense for me to keep trading. So but that's what my like personal stats show, is when I'm red, if things are still moving, it makes sense for me to keep trading. And many people, that's not the case.
Yeah. I personally myself am really trying to, I think I was boxing myself in quite a bit in terms of my rules. So I'm really trying to give myself more freedom to keep trading or kind of do whatever I want. I just need to really figure out this whole walking away thing. I don't want to make any rules too quickly, but I do think, you know, if it's not super hot, because these hot trading days, I mean, I don't know the exact statistics behind it, but I always hear something between like maybe 10 and 30, let's just say like an average of 20%, you know, are the really good days. They're probably even less than that. So most days you shouldn't be overstaying your welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. We've heard a lot of good traders talk about that. And I mean, as far as my own trading too, I think that's definitely true. And then the rest of the days in between are like, you really have to choose what you do with them. And it's not that important it's like any one day that, like, say your max green day is like 3,000 or 5,000, and a typical green day is like 500 to 1,000, something like that. If you're red like 500 on a day, it really just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Yep, that's super true. So you just have to kind of accept it. Hey, it's not hot today. Like, let me just save my energy for tomorrow and, you know, start fresh. I should have done that today, but yeah, I didn't. So I feel like I could think about it forever, but I do feel like I'm making a lot of progress. And for anyone that hasn't read that book, Quit by Annie Duke, I actually really recommend it, not even for trading, but she was a professional poker player, but so it is really relevant for people in our industry, but just in general, it's, I wish I read that book years ago. It really puts, it basically forces you to always ask the question, like, what's the expected value right now? And then she does a lot of good ways to break that down. Do you guys have any any books or any big things you guys recently learned or takeaway that's worth maybe sharing, relevant for this week or this month of trading?
Go for it, Toby, if you have anything.
I don't have anything specific, but I'm very pleased with the way this month has been going so far, and hope to
Yeah, me
continue
too.
the pattern. Had some pretty good green days, and I've pretty much been green every day too. So that's been a very positive thing. And today looks like it will be a red day, and I'll probably stop around here. But it's not as bad as my normal red days. Usually they're, $800,000. Today is only $250.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. I don't have any major learnings or anything like that to share. Monday was a really hot day for me. Mostly just because I think I didn't really have any major mistakes at all. And I was messing around with my share size a little bit, basically just sizing up on my best trades, which I know are getting in on dips. And then I take some profit on the pop, like maybe half the position, maybe less, depending on how strong the pop is. And then I can add through high of day if it looks like we're getting there. Those were just working well on Monday. And
Yeah.
and then Tuesday and Wednesday, just the market completely cooled off since then. So I am mostly just being really conscious of that right now, because last August, the first week of August was really hot for me. I made like $11,000 in the first week. And then it was like the second week of August, Monday or Tuesday, I had like a $9,000 red day. And then the rest of August basically followed suit. And I ended up small green for the month, I think, on August, but then I had September, October, November were all red months for me. So I'm just being really conscious of that, because it took until like end of December, early January to get back out of that drawdown.
Yeah.
And like, there's no chance that I am going to allow myself to be in a 3-month long drawdown again.
Yeah, it takes a toll. I agree.
Yeah, so I'm just being really conscious of that. Like, market is clearly not hot right now. Probably makes a lot of sense to try to spend less time in it, or less focus, less mental energy on it right now. And things will heat up again, but that's mainly it for me right now.
Yeah, I like that. Our good friend Colby is not able to make it today, so we don't have our big breakdown, our trading playbook breakdown or something like that. So I was thinking, is there anything specific going for, I mean, that kind of is going forward, but is there something going forward in terms of the rest of this week or the rest of this month that you guys really want to keep honing in on? I feel like we kind of did address that a little bit, but maybe there's some thoughts in your guys' head. I mean, even looking at something like AUG, GX, look at this ticker just
I'm
going.
leaving early tomorrow morning to go to Vietnam, so I'll be trading abroad, or not abroad, but on a vacation for the first time. So I think that will be interesting for me. I've never really traded outside of, my house or wherever I'm living at. So I'm gonna pack up my laptop and my extra screens, and hopefully find fast enough internet and try to trade, because I'll be there for almost a week.
Yeah, that's trading on the road. I mean, it's not all bad for me. What I found was the streaming and trading was really tough, because you need a certain amount of internet connection. You need kind of your quiet space. I found that was very difficult, but I think you'll probably be fine. Ethernet cable help if you can.
Yeah, the internet in my condo is so slow that I don't think I can do much worse. So I do pretty well in my condo.
It gives you
I
confidence.
I did like a couple days ago, I was at my girlfriend's house, and it's kind of in the countryside of Thailand, but they have a high-speed internet, and it makes quite a big difference when I hook my computer up directly through the Ethernet onto that high-speed internet. Those orders were going in a lot faster. I was like, almost not ready for it because I'm used to having delayed orders. And
That's so
sometimes
crazy.
that's kind of helps me because I'll buy a dip, but then I'll be a little bit early on it. And then I'll get filled a
Fill you
little bit
lower.
lower because my internet is slow.
No, so that's why you've been sizing, doing like partial size fills to. I get it. I
So,
get
and
it.
then there, I was getting myself in trouble because I'd hit it and I'd instantly get filled and I was getting in a bit too early. I may have been a little aggressive too because I didn't want to trade. There was a lot of people around, so I just wanted to kind of get in, get green, and leave. And I got myself, like $600 red in the first 2 trades in pre-market. But I managed to. I waited because I wanted to see what it was going to be like at 9:30 when the market opened with a lot more volume and a lot more people trading, and the internet was still very fast. And I was still getting really good fills, even like I was trading like the first minute, and so I was impressed with that and managed to get green, and it was only like $100, but then I hung it up. This was a challenging week for me because of the Thailand New Year's festival. So I've been kind of juggling, should I be trading right now or should I just be taking the full days off? And I feel like there's opportunity cost to not trade. So I've been trying to get a couple hours of trading in every day still.
Yeah, just kind of keep your finger on the pulse. I feel the same. Taking off sometimes completely is a bit much, although I feel like a few times a year it definitely is worth it. Like I do enjoy that week or so I fully take off to just but it was also kind of hot. Like the New Year's in Thailand, like it just so happened to be a pretty good week overall.
Last week.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely opportunity. I mean, even this week there's opportunity, right? Obviously the last 2 days were not so great, but Monday, Tuesday were pretty all right.
Yesterday was was okay. Didn't have a lot of trades.
One thing I've noticed is the past couple of days, the gap scanner and pre-market action has just been awful. And it's been like 10 or 15 or 20 minutes after the open that something starts popping up. So I'm trying to pay attention to that. And like the last couple of days, I've taken a trade pre-market and gotten myself down like 50 or $100 or something like that. Just one small loss. But that's consistently happening. And then market opens, something starts moving, I get myself into the green. But I am definitely paying attention to that.
Yeah, that's a good thing to pay attention to. I was kind of noticing something similar where pre-market it's just not so great for me like it used to be. And I always thought I was really good at trading pre-market. Or I should say that was really where my focus was. That's always where I made the majority of my money, like from 7 to 8. And that's really just not the case anymore. So there's definitely been a pivot in the overall market on when you have that power. And you're right, it seems to be a little bit after the market opens, like that, like 9:45 or sometimes even like 10:15 or something like that.
Yeah, it's important. I think it's really important to pay attention to that. Just like, what's the market telling you? How does it want to be traded, basically?
Yeah, I'm really listening to it.
Anyway, I've been only trading like half quarter size during pre-market because I remember, last year when I was a very beginner trader, I'd get myself in deep trouble pre-market and be down like $1,000 before the market would even open, and that's especially when you're not really sure what you're doing. That's a tough position to put yourself in. That's a lot of extra stress to be that red.
Yeah, that's a lot to call.
Pre-market hasn't been that hot lately. I've definitely seen days where things have moved a ton, but they're very few and far between now.
Yeah, totally agree. There goes AUGX even. It looks like a trade Danny would take.
Does it?
Every time I feel there's a massive flush or a bear trap, I'm like, Danny,
Bear trap, yes. Big flush, maybe not.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
Yeah, definitely. It is a fine line. That's why it's not a beginner strategy.
No.
It's really unintuitive to buy something that's moving down fast.
Yeah, I would definitely probably avoid it or advise against it probably for most people.
Yeah,
Exactly what you said. It's not really a beginner strategy. You don't really want to get in the habit of buying things going down, right? Especially if you're a long bias momentum trader. You typically want to buy on the front side. An easy way to identify that is above the 9 EMA, above the 15 EMA, above VWAP. That's usually a really good indicator. That's pretty much all of this after like this point.
yeah.
69 or so. Range trading, I find tricky today. It kind of felt right just because there's no good setups pre-market. Otherwise, I typically don't range trade.
But you gotta have some decent volume. If there's no volume, then those things don't bounce at all. If there's
Yeah,
like,
that's a
there's
good
good,
point.
if there's good volume, man, yeah, it's so much easier to catch those, bear traps and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I try to, I've been doing that like a kind of a pullback trade at not pre-market, during market open in the first 5 minutes. Usually like whatever like the lead gapper is, I'll try, usually there's like a little pop up and then we'll pull back. And I'll try to hit that pullback and get the little bounces that they have, because it almost happens every day on like clockwork. It just will bounce up a little bit, pull back a little bit lower than everyone wants, grab it, just take it for a little ride,
Mhm.
like 5-10 cents, dump it, and then see where it goes from there. See
It's
if it
so
wants to
true.
continue and break out. But that's been kind of like a easy 100-200 bucks in the pocket every day for me lately.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so true. And I hate when I sell into that. And I almost know for a fact it's going to bounce up a little bit. But if I buy too soon, I have to kind of manage my risk. And then I'm like, oh, selling here. I know I'm selling at the perfect low, and then it pops right back up again. But at the same time,
Yeah.
those few times you don't cut your losses, then that's really how you ruin your whole day.
I
That
just kind
was
of wait
something
for
that
like timing, like when it stalls a little bit, that's when I start to slam the ad.
Yeah, it has to be quick bounce. Yeah.
that was something that I started really noticing a couple of months ago, was that I was getting chopped up so much. Like last fall when I was just red over and over and constantly, I was getting chopped up so much going for like breakouts, and then it would have a dip or a flush or whatever that would bounce, and I just realized basically like it makes a whole lot more sense just to wait for that bounce, or that dip, because it's coming, and get in there instead of at the breakout level.
Yeah, breakout trading has been really punishing lately. Really for me, I'm almost always getting flushed on, or yeah, it's been really sloppy, and then you become really reactive. Breakout
Yeah,
trading. There was a time like I was nailing breakout trading, but first it is not right now. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back, but not at
it's
this point.
not right now. Yeah. I mean, it's just the state of the market. It's like we're not really in a bear market or a bull market. It's very indecisive. So yeah, those moves just don't really resolve well right now. And honestly, like aside from that huge false breakout on PTPI, even the shorts haven't been super consistent lately either. It's resolution to either side is not really great right now.
Yeah,
Just kind of flopping around.
yeah, I totally agree. I'm looking if there was any other tickers that are even worth discussing here. PTPI is a really cool one because we had that multi-day action. Are any of you guys doing any sort of multi-day swing trading on momentum stocks, top gainers?
No. And the reason why is because I keep seeing things like UIHC yesterday was just flying after hours, and then opens lower today. So I just haven't seen anything that moves up after hours one day and is actually still at that level the next day. So
Yeah.
when we start seeing that stuff, I was looking at Tesla yesterday on earnings, because last time they had earnings, I ended up in a swing trade for like 3 weeks because it kept going. So I was trying to see if I could get something on Tesla yesterday, but it didn't really give us much to work with.
Yeah, now they're starting to trend back down again.
Right.
They have they're reducing their margins on their cars, right? But they're trying to basically produce more. So I think there might be a little bit of uncertainty in that thesis. But I do feel like there's a lot of stocks that are quite depreciated that might be some really good buys very soon for the investment portfolios.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
feels like
and
that's the bottom.
that's kind of interesting because I agree with that, but I'm like, I don't know when or where. I don't know. I wonder if the market's gonna do like a bear trap before going higher.
It could. And we've had so many retests on this trend line that maybe if we finally put in a higher low, we might be able to break that next one. But yeah, it's so tough. I don't really do much swing trading, but if I do swing trading, I really try to treat it like day trading, where I'm like, okay, here's a new front side. We broke over, let's say, a trend line, and let me just try to buy the pullbacks and hold it. That's typically how I go about it. So PTPI, I didn't swing trade this one, but this one would have been a good opportunity to, because it came back to the 4-hour 9 EMA so many times. These were all really great buying opportunities. That's typically how I've been trying to practice doing it, but it's so easy. And I say this so many times, where if you trade two strategies, you trip over yourself like no tomorrow. So I've been doing it in a different broker where I just very small size, placing limit orders and kind of looking away. Otherwise, if I do it in TD Ameritrade, I guarantee you I will overthink it. I'll adjust it after a big red day trade or something really silly that has nothing to do with the actual swing trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't swing at all. I don't even know how to go about it, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely learn one strategy first, and then I don't know, maybe even just stick with it. But I do like to always have my feelers out, trying different things. I just noticed that it often will mess me up psychologically if I get too focused on the other thing. So there has to be a very big separation for me.
One other thing I do is, do like wheel options. So I like Tesla around where it is right now, 160, and I liked it when it was down at 100. So I'll sell puts on them and see if I'll get put a bunch of shares or not. And then if I get put those shares, then I'll immediately turn them over and sell calls on them.
Oh, nice. How's that been working?
That works okay. Tesla is one that if I can get in at about $100, I would hold it for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think I would do the same.
And I kind of screw myself up and trip over myself a little bit, because then I'm putting my selling calls way too far out. So I'm not making a lot of premium. And then I feel like when I do it a little bit too close, then then the stock will pop and then I'll have to give up the shares. So it's sometimes the wheel strategy can be a little bit of a pain in the ass too, and that having to try to figure out how much is this thing going to move this week.
Yeah, then you have all these other things like time decay and everything else eating at you. I've had some headache trades on options because of that. Like I even got it right, but then my expiration was wrong, still lost. So it's a little frustrating. When I think about a new strategy, I just think of, man, people are practicing this strategy day in and day out, just like we're practicing momentum trading on typically the small caps. So I'm just like, I'm at a huge disadvantage basically trying a different strategy. So if I do try something, I try to make sure it's very passive and I fully understand it.
Yeah, very small size too, so you don't have to put too much mental capacity into it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know Toby's got to run early today. You got a flight coming up soon. So
I got a 5 o'clock car coming to pick me up to get to the airport.
All right.
Well, you're just staying up.
I'll be having banh mi sandwiches. I'm not sure. I kind of feel like I should stay up for power hour, to be honest, because I have a gut feeling I can get back to at least even.
Yeah.
Dude, sign me up for that.
I'm only down 200 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you take one decent trade.
Exactly. That's only one decent trade. If I don't know.
Is it worth it?
That's the question. Is it worth not sleeping and then showing up to Vietnam being all tired? And it's only an hour and a half flight, so I'll definitely be tired when I arrive there.
Oh
Yeah,
boy. Oh boy.
that's the big question always. Is it worth it?
That's it. That's what it comes down to. That's the whole expected value, right? Like, is my time that I'm going to be putting in for the next, let's say, if I work one more hour, like, do you think it's worth, will I make amount that's worth that? I guess that's where the experience comes in, but I'll probably be in the Discord a bit longer if you're on, but I don't know. I might go ahead and call it, just take my red day and move on. Anything else you guys want to share? We could end a little bit early today, I think. Less people.
No, not really. Just hopefully can keep making some good choices while I'm trading right now. I feel like I'm recognizing my patterns and setups better from all these days of screen time and hours of screen time. So that's been helpful. And I feel like I'm managing my risk way better right now too. So that's been positive. I haven't been putting myself into those deep red positions, at least for this month, knock on wood. So we'll keep going with that. And I feel confident with what I'm doing. And I'm happy to sit out trades that I don't think are working out too. So I've been working. That's been the biggest key, I think, is working on that patience. Because some days I'm just chomping at the bit and just want to buy. Because maybe it's been a long weekend or something, and I haven't traded for a while. And God, right when I get that first opportunity, I just start slamming the buy button.
Yeah.
Because I just like need that hit to, it's like a drug for me a little bit to get a trade going.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the same as me. I'm just trying to avoid. I've been happy to sit out of lower quality moves lately, and that's been keeping me much safer. The worst hit that I've taken recently probably was today on PTPI. And I don't know. I mean, I took a trade that many times works out for me, so it didn't today. Luckily, I'm still green on the day, at least a small amount. So it is what it is. Yeah, just trying not to put too much focus or energy into the garbage that the market is giving us to work with right now.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, you guys have been in a real good flow lately. I've been seeing all your P&Ls, absolutely amazing, and really good risk reward too. Like your win-loss ratios are just so on point. I'm jealous. Those look beautiful.
Trying to.
But yeah, I guess you can't compare yourself to others. But I do see it. I'm like, that amazing. I'm super stoked. And if anyone's watching this and you guys want to check out more from, Toby or Danny, in the description under this video, there's always all the traders in the pod information.
Cool.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I guess we go ahead and call it here, guys. Toby, have a great flight. Danny, good luck if you're still trading. Toby,
no, I got other stuff to do today. The market does not look good.
Good, yes. Gotta call it. Nice.
Yeah.
I might call it too, actually. So
I feel like that's a good choice.
I would have to post a red day. Dang it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it makes it worse when you're on a green streak, but it is what it is.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
No.
All right, guys. Take care, everyone.
All right. See you guys.
Ciao.